Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is Loving Longevity. And just a quick personal story. Today, I was with my mom running around to various doctor's appointments and looking around in the waiting rooms. And I thought to myself, some people are definitely not loving their longevity. And that's why I feel like this show is so important. There's so many things that we can do, regardless of what your age is. We can take action now. We just need to learn what it is we need to do. So, the creator of this particular show, the creative genius, is Annie Bush. She is a holistic longevity strategist. Let's welcome her, and then we'll bring out our guest. Hi, Annie.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from across the globe, because we are USA Global TV and Radio.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, the more people that we could just spread the message of longevity to, and it is those little steps that you can take every day. There's almost like there's a spectrum of the smallest steps that you can take. And then on the other side of the spectrum is all the cutting edge biohacking, cutting edge technology that's going on today that we'll be talking about.
Absolutely. And just to go back to what I said in the beginning of the show, when I looked at my mom and I looked at these other people who were similar ages, the two of them could not even stand up, even holding on. They couldn't get themselves up. And I thought to myself, thank you, God, Mom, you have great genes and you do the right thing. So keep going.
Absolutely.
So, Annie, for people who are joining us for the first time, maybe they're listening on the radio or they're going to watch us later and they haven't watched this particular show, please do tell them all about you, your background, and why you wanted to do this particular show.
Well, I've been in the health and wellness space for almost a decade now. I started out as a personal trainer, a health coach, started seeing the real value of the brain, because basically it's your command center, it's your personality, it's your memory, it's your quality of life. So I became a certified brain health coach under both Dr. Daniel Amen, who you've probably seen on TV, and Dr. Dale Bredesen, who's at the cutting edge with cognitive decline. So I'm certified under both those doctors. And what then I started really kind of investigating was longevity, because I thought, wait a minute, it's the aging of the brain along with the aging of the body. So the focus then even, I spread my wings even further to into this longevity and found this fabulous company. It's called LifeWave. And David Schmidt is the CEO and creator of this tiny patch. And we had him on the show. So go ahead and search through Loving Longevity on USA Global TV on YouTube for David Schmidt. And you can learn more about this amazing patch and what it does. It looks like a little Band-Aid. For those of you out there in radio land, it's about an inch. It looks like an inch circle, and it looks like a Band-Aid, and you peel it off like you just would a Band-Aid. But in the middle of it is this crystal matrix. Let me go ahead and put that on my hand. There you go. And just like as when the sun hits your skin, there's a certain wavelength that when it hits your skin performs this biochemical response and converts that wavelength into vitamin D. And it does it all by itself. Well, David Schmidt took that thinking, and we now use our body heat as the energy source. It hits this patch, which is full of crystals, which then converts that heat into a wavelength, sends it back down through your body, and activates your stem cells. Now, what does that mean for us? That means reversing aging. That means repairing damaged organs, kidneys, livers, heart tissue. Those of you with leaky gut, autoimmune diseases, it heals those holes in your gut. And what that means for you is the science shows that with 6 months of wearing the X39, and that's what it's called, the X39 stem cell activation patch, you can reverse your cellular age by 8 years. Now, how do we know this is true? Well, the studies show it, but I was on a retreat last week, and there was a woman there that actually has now started having her periods again at our age. So it's actually really reversing the cellular age of women, and my skin is getting amazing at reversing the age of everyone. But I can just tell from my skin and the way I feel. So we'll talk a little bit more about the patch later. I have more information to share, but and David, we were at a conference last week, and David Schmidt appeared via teleprompter or via, Zoom, and start giving us hints as to what the next product was going to be, which is going to be released in August. So I will have very exciting news in August about what the new technology, and it's not going to be a patch. He said that the next product that's being launched is not a patch. So we're all very excited because he is a scientist and he is divinely driven. So whatever God has downloaded into him, he's taken into action, and we're going to get the good news in August, Dr. JACALYN.
Fantastic. That was a super informative and valuable interview, by the way. And I think everyone should go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and to the playlist, Loving Longevity, and watch that. You can watch it over and over again.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully we'll be able to get him on. I'm going to try for right after he does the launch in August, if what the new product is, because I'm sure he's not going to talk about it before then, publicly anyway. So I'll get that lined up for us.
Fantastic. And you've brought another fabulous guest. I'm going to introduce her, but just if you could share with our audience briefly, how did the two of you connect?
There's a wonderful community of health and wellness providers that are just starting to connect. Dr. JACALYN, just like you and I, we were brought together. Thank you to like Facebook and LinkedIn that just brings all of us together, and then we can share with each other what our strengths are. I was a personal trainer, I was a health coach, and my focus is slightly changed. But people like Lynne Wadsworth that is out there, she's boots on the ground, working with women that are going through this period in their life. And, we've talked about it before, but, women after the children have left the house and they have no one else to care for, and it's just me, myself, and I. And these women don't know who me is. And we're going to be talking a lot about that today, is going through that transition. But that's how Lynne and I met, is through this community of all of us health and wellness people just getting on Facebook and just connecting with each other and saying, hey, what do you do? Hey, what are your interests? What can we learn from each other?
I love that. I'm all about connecting people and bringing people together and collaborating. And you just never know where one meeting, one introduction can take you, both of you, three of you, however many.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to introduce our guest today. She is joining us from the great state of Florida, which is where we are as well. So 3 women in Florida at the same time. Her name is Lynne Wadsworth, and she's the owner and founder of Holistic Health and Wellness. She's also the curator of the Energized Healthy Women's Club. She's an author, yay, and she's an AADP certified holistic health practitioner. And I especially love this one. She's a certified wellness cooking instructor. How cool is that? Let us welcome Lynne to the show. Hi, Lynne. Welcome.
You. Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. What an honor.
We are so excited to have you here, especially with your background and the work that you're doing with women. We are all about the empowerment of women here. And I believe knowledge is what we need, and we need to share it freely. And Annie, you were talking about small steps that we can take, and you're also talking about technology and the integration. So let's really start to dive deep into the conversation. Lynn, what is it that you do specifically to help women? If you can just narrow it down, and we'll expand from there.
Yeah, narrowing it down, however I help them, it all comes back to some basic principles of how to live a healthy lifestyle. And it's all simple steps, because I like to make it as simple as possible for women, because we get into overwhelm, especially I think when we're in midlife and in this glorious period of life. Everything's coming at us. We're a little bit overwhelmed. And so I like to give them step-by-step instructions so that they can live that longer, healthier, happier life. So it's through a variety of different things, and I'm sure that we'll touch on them. But especially, I think I like to keep women out of overwhelm, and I like to keep them in joy and in confidence in themselves.
It's beautiful.
So, with women, let's start at, 50 years of age. And, the children have left the house and they find themselves for the first time by themselves. They may have a spouse that's off doing his thing. But what do you see the biggest challenge for women when they get to this crossroads or this change, this period in their life?
Several challenges, but the biggest one that I see is that women are now questioning, who am I? What's my life all about? Where do I go from here? It's all down to the basic thing of those questions of what's life all about, because we've been wrapped up in other people for so many years that we may not even be in tune with who we are. We may be in a job that we hate, that we haven't even given ourselves chance to figure out what it is we'd love to do. And as you say, the kids leave home and it can be a source of sadness, whereas I like to look at it as the beginning of our lives and actually a source of joy, and actually beginning our lives at this stage in life.
Thank you. I don't have any children. I just would imagine it would be like freedom. Yes.
You would think. And now at 50, that could be, year zero, and you have another 50, 67 years. You're literally starting all over again, but with all the wisdom from the first half.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? That I think is some of the things that people face, because when we got to midlife, we didn't have any thought of, oh my gosh, I'm going on for another 50 years. It was like, I've got this small amount of time now, let me make the most of it. But really, that's why I say our life's beginning, and we can explore new things because we have the advantage of the longevity that we didn't have years ago. So our parents never talked about menopause. Why not? Well, what was the point? Because they didn't live very long past it. We may not have talked much about a healthy lifestyle in your 50s, because let's face it, we didn't have very long to go after that. But if our intent is to live as long as possible, then we have a responsibility to take care of these bodies that God has given us and really fill them up with good things.
I agree with you. It's interesting. We've interviewed a number of women on this show, as well as others, that during the pandemic, in their age 50 something, 60 something, they decided to leave what they were doing or leave their relationship and go out and find their passion. And in each and every case, just to see their faces light up, that they've been reborn almost.
Yeah. And it's really sad, the people that, and I was guilty of this. I stuck in a job that, because of my loyalty to the people, I did this job for years. I absolutely hated it. And it wasn't until I got into the sweet spot of health coaching and being able to help people that I realized there was passion and purpose beyond that 9-to-5 job that left us feeling stressed, tired, not even wanting to do anything full of fun at the weekends because we were in this rut all the time. And my daughter actually has kind of made comments about herself in midlife. And my advice to people is don't wait any longer than you have to. You don't have to be stuck in that 9-to-5 job that you don't like. Go do something that is your sweet spot, that lights your life. And as I know both Annie and I talk about it, that makes your heart sing, because this is a time for enjoyment, for confidence, for a playful time, for happiness, things that we don't really think about when we get to this mid stage of life.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to get them from the fear of the unknown to the fun that they could be having.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about some specifics. And we talked about them earlier. Let's talk about some of the techniques and modalities that you use with women to really just start getting their self-confidence up, their health improved, to get them ready for this second phase.
Yeah. The big one that people have a struggle with is self-care. And I don't necessarily love that term, but we've been brought up in this society that we're supposed to take care of other people. It's our job to take care of our spouses, our children, people at work, whoever. We're taking care of people. And we always put ourselves on the back burner. But I try to put it into perspective for people and remind them that, well, how can you even give to those people if you've totally sucked up everything that's inside of you? If you don't take the time to take care of yourself, there's nothing left over for other people. And I'm not talking about let's take a 2-hour period of time where we're going off out and we're doing a pedi and a mani and a massage. It can be small things that we put into our day that light us up and help us to feel taken care of, because at the end of the day, we've probably still got suppers to make, as we call them in England, dinners to make. We've still got people to take care of, maybe if we're still married. But we need to fill ourselves up first. It can be something as simple as getting on the phone with a friend and just having a good old laugh. It can be soaking in a bathtub that you really makes you feel relaxed with a scent that you love. It can be something like going out in nature and feeling more grounded and just enjoying the sunshine, as we can here in Florida. Not so many people around the world have that privilege that we do. But it can be the little things. It can just be even the way that we teach ourselves to breathe. Because if you're in the middle of a stressful situation, think about it. Where is your breath? It's probably very shallow. And if we learn the art of breathing in deeply and exhaling properly using our whole diaphragm, it can release our stress. It can help us to take care of ourselves. It can give us a better clarity of mind, which is something that we seem to struggle with during the menopausal years. So anything that you can do to lift yourself up and feel better can be as short as 30 seconds. It can be as long as a couple of hours, whatever floats your boat, so to speak.
Thank you so much. And Lynn, I'm thinking that as women are coming into their own and following their passions, there are certain things that they may have to change, right, in their behaviors in order to have longevity that they love as opposed to that they hate. So tell us a little bit more about your work in terms of a certified wellness cooking instructor, because I think that sounds like something fabulous for women to start. They can start cooking or baking or doing something creative right there in their home.
I laugh because I'm really, my family would also laugh. I am not the best cook. I know how to do it because it's not a passion, but I know how to do it to keep people fit and well. And it's all premised on recipes, teaching women how to meal prep so that they're not spending hours in the kitchen, and then using recipes that don't have that processed food that can help you feel energized all day long. So it's teaching them how to maximize what they've got in their refrigerator and cook it so that it tastes good, but so that it's very healthy, because, you know, with the end in mind of that longevity, we don't want to be filling our bodies full of processed food. So it's teaching people to eat the right way, teaching them how to cook their meals, and to cook them in a way that you're not starting from scratch every night of the week. That was one thing I loved about the instructor that I had at the Wellness Cooking Academy. She taught us some great tips on ways to prep your food and ways to cook it throughout the week that was simple. We don't need to go into a 5-course meal and make sure that it's a huge long thing. I love simple, and I like to keep it as simple as possible. And I like to be able to plan out my meals so that I can use some of the same things throughout the week, but use them in different ways. So that's part of how I teach people, and I teach them. I've done classes where a bunch of women would get together. I'll bring the food, they pay a certain amount, and they go away with so many dishes. So you can meal prep so that you've got different meals throughout the week, or you can meal prep so that you've got something that you can take home with you, throw some in the freezer, keep some in the refrigerator, use it throughout the week. So it's teaching them how to eat healthily, but how to eat wisely and on a budget.
That sounds like a great idea. You just make a whole bunch of different dishes, and then you have a whole week full of meals. That's amazing. And, you know, we talked too about women releasing their addiction to sugar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's like, right. And, you know, understanding that sugar it is an addiction, but it's just the drug that you can get at the corner store, and Amazon will deliver it.
Absolutely. They'll even deliver it from my English sources that I love. I can get it all the way from England.
I was just going to share, Annie, you know how I'd gone back to eating chocolate covered pretzels, and I gave up sugar. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks now. But you know, it's interesting. I don't feel any different. I can actually remember the joy of eating the sugar, but I could see it in my skin even. But I have to say, I don't really feel that much different. I just know it's not a good thing to do. It's not something that you should be doing on a regular basis. So I let it go.
And that's why they call it inflammation, because it's going on whether you realize it or not. And that's what sugar does. It's that hidden little danger, that hidden little thing that's going on, even though you can go about your life and not think about it. It is going on. And that's what got athletes, I'm going to take a little sidebar here, but that's what got athletes in trouble that were carb loading before all of their running events, because carbs are sugar and carbs convert to sugar. And they thought, since they were not gaining weight or not feeling the effects of the sugar, that it wasn't affecting them. However, the inflammation was building up in their livers, in their kidneys, in their hearts, in their joints. And then when they turn 50, 60, 70, all of a sudden they can't move anymore, because that inflammation that they have been ignoring for years and years and years finally caught up with them. And that's why, just because you're not feeling anything doesn't mean it isn't going on. Sorry.
Fabulous. Well, I did the right thing. I gave it up.
Yep.
I gave it up. So I don't even miss it. It was just something to do. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So along with eating, let's talk about hydration, especially now that you're here in Florida. Lynn, how do you instruct your women on how to drink and keep hydrated?
Yeah, so the new norm, of course, is now half of your body weight in fluid ounces. So just for an example, if you weigh 150 pounds, you're supposed to be drinking 75 fluid ounces of water a day. And yeah, I hear a lot of people, oh, I just hate water, I can't do it. Well, the good news is herbal teas are considered to be water. I'm sad to report that coffee and black tea do not count as hydration. You really have to drink a cup of water to a cup of coffee to get your hydration level. But I do teach people how to drink water that makes it more palatable. So whether you like carbonated water or plain water, you can infuse it with all kinds of different things. Berries are a wonderful example of that, or lemon, which of course has additional health benefits of detoxification. But you have to remember that, especially somewhere here in Florida, if you're going to the gym and you go and you're sweating bucket loads, you need to put that hydration back into your body. So we're talking over and above that half of your body weight in fluid ounces. It was a big lesson that I learned when I moved from Utah to Florida. Up there in the high altitude, it was a whole different thing because we didn't get sweaty and hot from the humidity like we do here. But I spent 3 weeks actually throwing up really sick just with altitude sickness and with the humidity here. So you really need to know, where are you living? Are you living somewhere where the humidity is high? Are you living somewhere that's dry and is going to dry out your skin? Because if you're not hydrating, remember that you're aging your skin as well as the inside of your body. Hydration is huge when it comes to anti-aging. Dehydration can also bring about sickness and disease. I was a migraine sufferer for years and had no clue that being dehydrated was something that was contributing to the daily migraines that I was suffering with. So hydration is something that people think is so basic, but it's something that's so huge in every area of our lives. Whatever sickness and disease you're suffering from, whether you just want to stay energized, hydration is key to all of it.
Lynn, I'm really glad that you clarified what is considered to be acceptable in terms of water, because I know so many people say, oh, I drink all day. I'm having soda, I have juice, I have this. No, that's not not good. It doesn't count.
Doesn't count. No, the caffeine doesn't count. Right. And I'm glad you said that, for every cup of coffee or every drink that you drink that has caffeine in it, you've got to add another 10, 12 ounces of water to make up for it. And, women, especially going through this part of our lives, because, everything's happening. And like you said, that sense of overwhelm. Our brains are at least 75% water. So if you're dehydrated, one of those first symptoms of dehydration is confusion. It's your inability to, you're in like a brain fog. That's because your brain is just, dehydrated itself. And one thing that I learned, through all my travels here, is that when you're sweating out your sodium. Okay. And that is an important mineral that your body needs. Mm-hmm. So especially if you're working out or just, outside, or you're sweating and you're wearing dark clothes, if there is a white ring where you are sweating, that's your body losing sodium. And you need to replace that with those electrolytes, like an electrolyte drink that has sodium in it. So look at your clothes. If you've got a t-shirt on or whatnot, and it's white, like you see men a lot and they sweat on the back and there's white, they're losing sodium. They're losing their electrolytes and they need to replenish, or else we're looking at, heat stroke and all that kind of fun stuff. So I digress.
What's the, that's okay. What's the rule of thumb when it comes to adding salt to our diet? Is that something aside from sweating? Should we use salt? I don't use it, but
I think nowadays things have flipped the switch a little bit. So there is actually one product that I use that's called, I think it's called real salt. Either that or I will recommend a Himalayan salt. I don't think it's that we shouldn't be eating it, because some people really do need it. I think you need to be careful. So if you've got high blood pressure, we all know you don't add salt to your food. But then again, if you've got a good healthy salt, so I'm sorry, I have high blood pressure, but I have to tell you, I still add salt to my foods, this real salt. So I think there is still really some confusion there for people. People stay away from it. but there are instances when it can be healthy. Sweating is one of them. If you're on a diet and it's a very strict diet, which of course I don't recommend, but you really want to make sure that you're taking in enough salt and sodium. And it's always a really good idea if you're changing your diet or if you're in a different climate to get your blood work done and see where all of your levels are, because it's not just about your cholesterol. Your sodium might be high or low, your calcium might be high or low, your potassium might be at different levels. So, you know, that's my disclaimer, that as a health coach, you still always want to make sure that you're getting regular lab work done from a healthcare provider.
That's a great point. I just had a physical this week, and my mom said, "How did it go?" I said, "Well, I didn't have the blood test yet, so who knows, right?" There's really no information until you get the blood test back. So,
and
very important for everyone.
Right, and I just started doing DNA analysis through 3x4, and I got my results back. And ironically, well, not ironically, but surprisingly, I have some risk for vascular health, and hypertension is one of them. However, genetically, it's not caused by sodium. It's not caused by salt. So having salt is not a risk factor for me for my blood pressure. So in addition to having your blood test done, having your DNA, so you can find out genetically if you're okay having the salt regarding your hypertension. But Himalayan pink salt is amazing.
Yes,
it really is. It really
and that will give you your electrolytes that you need, that we were talking about. And sometimes people will just put Himalayan salt into a glass of water and drink that to get their electrolytes back up again.
And you can do these little workarounds. You can put some in your coffee. Yeah, you can put some in your coffee, because then it will counterbalance the dehydrating effect of the caffeine.
What about the Himalayan salt? I forget what they're called. Do you plug them in and you have them around your house?
Oh, I have one actually here in my office. I have some people that absolutely love them and feel that they can notice a difference. I can honestly tell you that I have had 2 on in my office at a time, and I don't notice a difference. But I'm the kind of person that, because I live this healthy lifestyle, I don't have a problem with energy and I don't have a problem with brain fog. So I'm probably not the best person to take that kind of temperature, so to speak. But I know some people just absolutely find it's wonderful. It helps them with their health. It helps them to feel better and more energized throughout the day. So really, again, it's a trial and error thing. Everybody is different, and it just depends how your body responds to it.
Okay, so what the deal is with the pink Himalayan salt lamps? You want them in near where you have electronics. Electronics emit positively charged ions. Stay with me. The pink Himalayan salt lamps emit negatively charged ions. If our body is in front of these computers and lights like we are all day long, your body is absorbing all these positively charged ions. And when they get absorbed into your body, they cause what we call oxidative stress, because they're just running around alone by themselves, causing havoc. If they then meet up with a negatively charged ion, they get neutralized and don't do you any damage. So that's why you want the salt lamps emitting those negatively charged ions, hooking up with the positively charged ions from the electronics and neutralizing them before your body absorbs them. It's the same premise like grounding, like walking in your bare feet in the grass or in the sand. Your body's absorbing those negatively charged ions to then absorb the positive ones, match them up, group them up, and neutralize them. So that, again, that's why you want them next to your TVs, your computers. Put one in your bedroom to neutralize the air in your bedrooms, especially have a nightlight in your bathroom. So yes, that's what the benefit of actually having the lamps are. And it may not be something that you feel, but I have that hypersensitivity. So yes, I've got them everywhere.
With all this equipment I have in front of me and on the sides of me, I better be getting them to get some soon.
I mean, yeah, I've got shungite, I've got black tourmaline, I've got everything next to this computer that can neutralize it. So Lynn, so we talked about exercise. Okay, with women our age coming to you, they're overwhelmed. How do you get them moving?
Yeah, so I have them start slowly. So, and I do call it moving more, not exercising, because some of us are just really allergic to that word exercise. So if it's somebody that hasn't moved a lot, I will generally start them off with having them go outside and walk around the block for 10 minutes. If people work and they say, I don't have time to exercise, which of course we all know is a big thing in our corporate world, take a 10-minute break and go walk around your building at work. And then what I encourage them to do is start increasing that amount. Because once you start with that movement and you begin to see how much better you feel, you want to do it more. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't times when we're lacking in motivation. That's where community comes in so well, to have somebody to encourage you and motivate you. But we really all should be moving at least 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week. And unless you're out, most women of our age aren't necessarily going to the gym doing a really, really strenuous workout. They are wanting to get in some movement. If we don't move, our joints are not going to move as well. And I can honestly tell you, as a migraine sufferer, that the movement and the exercise has really been a preventative for me. For stress relief, movement is going to really help you with that. If you've got the brain fog, if you feel that you've got no energy, the movement is going to help you with that. So we can't use it as an excuse. I'm getting older, so I don't need to jump out at the gym and do all of this heavy lifting stuff. No, learning how to incorporate some healthy walking and doing some strength training together will really help your bones. It will help your muscles. It will help you feel better overall. And I usually once or twice a year have some kind of movement challenge in my Energized Healthy Women's Club group, because we all lose that motivation sometimes, and having community really helps motivate us. It is so essential, and it's even more essential as we go through midlife and maybe the menopausal years, to keep that movement going. Metabolism goes down, so we want to keep it up, and that movement will help with that.
Lynn, thanks for sharing that. I'm just wondering, in addition to obviously our lower body, what about keeping your core and your back strong and moving your upper body as well?
So one thing that's really helped me, I have, because it's so hot here in Florida, I'm lucky enough to have a treadmill, and I have an iFit app on there. So they are really good at teaching you how to exercise. So I do a lot of hiking on mine, teaching you how to, and they'll remind you going through, holding your core, keep shoulders down, roll your shoulders up and down and up and forward, and just different things to remind you that the core is important. But if you're exercising right, even with the walking, you can still strengthen your core, probably in a healthier way for us as we age than doing sit-ups or doing crunches, because as we age, we've got to remember our body changes. So I still use the principles of keeping my core in. If you're walking properly and striking your toe and your heel properly, it's going to help you back, because as we know, as we age, our lower back very often hurts us. And we need to be careful of how we're moving, and notice if you've been exercising and you you do have lower back pain, think about how you've done it. Stretching becomes so important as we age, not before we're working out. If you walk slowly to begin with and get your body moving, at the end, do some stretching exercises. And as you stretch, you'll find that it will help your lower back. It will help with your arms and with your legs, your calves, different parts of your body. But you need to engage your core as you're walking, not just forget about the fact that your core exists there. If you've got proper posture, that can really help with the core as well.
Good point. Thank you. I'm a big fan of the plank. I love planks, and you can do them anywhere.
Yes.
Who was it? Cher and Madonna that was doing the 4-minute planks?
Oh, I forget.
It was a few years ago. So somebody challenged me when I was still a personal trainer. Somebody challenged me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. So I went live on Facebook and set the timer, and I did a plank it was just over 4 minutes.
That's very healthy, though, because our balance is not as great as we age, and doing planks is a great way to get centered and to balance ourselves as well.
Interesting enough, or ironically enough, this may be the beginning of a woman's start to doing any of this.
Yes.
This could be her first beginning to doing workouts and going on walks. And they come to you, they've got low energy, they've got brain fog, they've got no motivation, but what they need to do is get moving, get stronger, to support their backs, to create more energy, to eat cleaner foods, to get more motivated, and getting them moving is the key. And that lower back pain is because they've been sitting around. You got to get up and start moving and get circulation and get strength, and all those aches and pains will just go away.
Yeah, it's true.
But getting women motivated. And I think that, we're circling back to how we started this conversation, is that at this juncture, some women don't know what makes their heart sing. Right? And what I've been saying a lot is, at this point in our life, we are the collection, every skill set we have is everything we've ever experienced. So tapping into what makes you happy. Is it watercoloring? Is it hiking? What is it that will motivate you to really look at these next 50 years with excitement?
Right. Our mindset plays such a huge role in it.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
So tell us about, you said something about an exercise challenge that you do with the women.
So I usually at Christmas time will do either a plank challenge in the group, and it's usually 30 days. It's either planks or sometimes I'll do squats. And in the early summer, so like usually May, I do a walking challenge for 30 days. And I hold them accountable in there, and we post pics. And I usually have some kind of prizes throughout these challenges to motivate them a bit more, because I count points for everything that they do. And it's just something that helps to motivate us at this point in our lives when we may not be at work anymore and be motivated by people around us. We may not have a good support group with our movement, but if you're in a good community, then you can get some accountability and motivation.
Lynn, thank you so much. I can't believe that this time has flown by already. I do have your banner up with your contact information, but for people who are interested in working with you, hiring you, purchasing your book, what's the best way for people to reach out, and who would you like to contact you?
So you can actually just go to my website, and on that website, there is a contact page. And all you need to do is send me a message through there. You can, if you find me on Facebook, you can DM me, tell me that you want one of my free clarity calls. I do that. It will give people an action plan. And the people I work with most are women who are in this midlife phase of life, anywhere from 40 to 58, depending, because we're all different and experience it all differently. And those are the people that make my heart sing, when I can see people in that age group find that confidence and find that aha moment about, oh, life's not ending, life's beginning. So my email is lwadsworth@verizon.net, and you can always email me there to just tell me that hey, I want to get on a free call with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here and being such a fabulous guest. And you're welcome to come back on this show or any of our others.
Thank you so much.
You know, and thank you for giving women the voice, their voice back, you know, or learning how to speak up for themselves and their self-care, and, you know, to go after that self-confidence and that passion. Like I said, you're really the boots on the ground with this. And
Thanks.
yes. And thank you so much for doing this for women everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend.
Yes, a nice long one.
All right. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Annie, I know you have something coming up right at the top of the hour, but you also have something special going on. So tell us more.
Yes. So at the top of the hour, for those of you that want to learn more about the stem cell patches, you know, when we talked with Lynn, you know, hitting that, for some reason, hitting 50 years of age, you know, it's really that pivotal point. And then when you realize you're going to live for another 50, the stem cell activation patches say, you know what, I'm going to help you do that. I am going to start activating and giving you new cells, and we're going to repair all that damage. And that's what these X39 stem cell patches are all about. So at the top of the hour, wherever you are in the world, you go to zoom.us. And then there's a code, and I have it in the banner. Use the code 379-717-7845. Again, go to zoom.us and put in the code 379-717-7845. And it is a podcast where people that have been using the patches for a while are going to come on and tell you what their experiences have been, you know, their testimonials. And we've been you know, now that people have been using the patches for 6 months or a year, or even just what they've been experiencing in the first few weeks, has just been amazing. I had one of my clients message me yesterday morning saying, I've had restless legs all my life, and the last 3 nights that they have been calm, and I can get a good night's sleep. And we just so underestimate what a good night's sleep is. So if you're interested in learning more about how to reverse your aging, or just to calm your legs down at night, or whatever ache or pain that you have, shoot on over to zoom.us and join us and listen to the testimonials that we have coming up.
Fantastic, Annie. I will let you go over there and get ready for that. But thank you again for being here today and for sharing all this great information with our audiences.
And as always, thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for providing this platform. Without you, we wouldn't be here.
It's a team effort. So thank you. All right. Take care and have a lovely weekend yourself.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you, everyone, whether you're watching or listening on the live or on the replay. If you're over on our YouTube channel, please do click subscribe and join our family here. If you'd like to be a guest on this or any of our other shows, please go over to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com. Book your session. Okay, our last show for today, for the week, is coming up in less than 15 minutes. And the show title is Presenting Pet Psychic Amina. She's going to teach us everything we need to know about training our pets. So do join us for that. You can stay right here. I will zip over to the other studio and meet Amina and come back and join you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.